Okay, welcome back. Our first recipe is easiest drop biscuits. And I have my computer here because the file is pretty long and I didn't want to print it out. So the easiest drop biscuits we're going to mix these with the beef stew, and we're going to ladle beef stew over top, which should taste pretty good. So for the biscuits, it's going to be 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and you can get a 5-pound bag at Walmart store brand for about $1.75 maybe. I'm going to measure out 2 cups of flour. That's 1. And this is all-purpose flour, nothing special. It's the Walmart brand. Is it Great Buys or something like that? Great Value, I think that's what it is. Okay, so 2 cups of flour, a tablespoon of baking powder. This is different than baking soda. Baking powder helps things to rise. Baking soda helps them to spread. So if you're wanting cookies, you'll probably have baking soda in your recipe because they will spread. 1 tablespoon. A teaspoon of salt, which I didn't bring over. So we're going to guesstimate. Maybe that much. And we're going to sift these dry ingredients together. You can use a whisk or fork, it doesn't matter. Just until they're incorporated. And then we're going to pour in our wet ingredients. So it's a cup of milk, and if you don't have milk, you can use evaporated milk. If you have yogurt or sour cream and not milk or evaporated milk, add a little water, thin it to milk consistency. It'll still work. If you don't have anything, you can use 2 tablespoons of oil or butter, and or you could even use water. Just thin out the oil or the butter with the water till you get a cup. Let's see what else is next. A 1/4 cup of oil, butter, or shortening, whatever you have. And here's my 1/4 cup. I have my Great Value vegetable oil. I did forget to tell you that you need to preheat your oven to 425, 450, 425. And then we're just going to mix this. Stir just until sticky, not, we're not going to make this super incorporated, just until sticky and not so wet. It does help if you get all your ingredients out ahead of time. That'll make the process go a lot faster. And then, nice, there we go. Yep. And then we're going to drop big blobs onto a greased pan or foil, and I have foil. And I'm just going to use a spoon. try and make them uniform in size, if that means that way they will cook more uniformly also, be done at the same time. That one's a little small. What did I do with my spatula? There's no shame in getting every last drop. This is food. Don't throw any of it away. Okay, 4, 8, 12 biscuits. Pretty good. And then this is going to go into the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. And then you can ladle some of this hot beef stew over top. And that's dinner, and it'll be delicious. See you in a bit. Okay, we're going to just heat these up on the stove. Should take 3 to 5 minutes maybe. Hopefully I don't get goop on my computer. It smells good.
The stew?
Yeah. You're on video. There we go. Doesn't look too bad. Looks like a can of Dinty Moore beef stew. Our biscuits and our stew is done. The biscuits turned out real nice. They're pretty golden on the bottom. I did put them in for 14 minutes in my oven instead of the 10 to 12. I went a little longer because they were still so white on the top. But once they started getting a little bit brown, like on here, then I went ahead and took them out. But it was about 14 minutes. And the stew is hot. I'm going to try this on its own first. That's a pretty decent biscuit. It made a lot more stew than I would be able to eat on my own. This would definitely feed me for a couple days. I have a fork here. I don't know if I would put it over the biscuits or dip my biscuits in it. That's a good stew. That's a really good stew. You could even make a stew sandwich. Cut the biscuit in half. That's a really good meal. Okay, so that's our first one. Ideas on what to do with the stew meat that you got. I have a few other ideas. You could do a beef stew pot pie. If you had a puff pastry or made a pastry, made like a pie dough, you could put the pie dough in the pie pan or any food safe, oven safe container, and then put your stew on top of that with any extra vegetables that you might have. If you wanted it a little thinner, because this is pretty thick, if you want it a little thinner, you could add some milk or water to it. You can have stew over mashed potatoes, make some creamy mashed potatoes and add the stew on top of that. That would be delicious. You could serve this as it is with grilled cheese and dip your grilled cheese into it. Or you could also, if you have rice, you could put this over rice and put a fried egg over top of that. Rice is very easy. It is a 2-to-1, 2 parts of water to 1 part rice. And it takes about 20 minutes on the stove if you don't have a rice cooker. And just, you keep an eye on it until the water's evaporated, and that's your rice. And then I always let mine steam off heat for maybe about 3 to 4 minutes, and then I fluff it with a fork. So those are some ideas to do with the beef stew. Hang tough, okay? I know it's hard.